Welcome to the FIH Pro League, the penultimate day of action from the London leg, with just Utrecht and Amsterdam to come beyond this. Great Britain hold genuine hopes of finishing first in the Pro League for the first time. Spain, 2 games left to play, looking to push themselves a long way beyond Ireland, who will definitely finish bottom. In this fixture last season, Spain won 3-2. Today, it's all about school children in the stands. There are 64 schools here watching these fabulous athletes. Tim Nurse there warming up on the practice pitch moments ago. Will Calnan returns, the Southgate player, to the Great Britain team today. Alan Forsyth scored the winner against India. Basteda, hat-trick hero for Spain very recently indeed. They won 3-0 against Germany on Thursday, this Spanish team. Marc Moraes, one of their captains, although Ivaro Iglesias, the smiling Club de Campo player from Madrid, captains today. Spain, of course, celebrating because their women's team have just been promoted into the FIH Pro League. Top scorers at the moment, 3 of them on 12. Govers, Janssen, Singh, what a petrifying penalty corner unit that would be. Domene and Ward. Sam Ward doesn't play today, one of arrested many. The likes of Zach Wallace, the likes of Jack Waller, also sitting out this one. James Oates too. So let's have a look then at the head-to-head. Well, as I said, last year, this was won 3-2 by Spain. It was when Great Britain just rocked a little bit. Their championship tilt fell apart. Great Britain have won 5, Spain 4 in the last 11 years. They played for the first time in the Olympic Games in 1960. Let's hope it doesn't finish like that today. It was 0-0. Interestingly as well, in Olympic year, Spain actually beat Great Britain in 1988 in Seoul. There are the school children. We're now going to hear from Paul Revington, the Great Britain coach. Paul, the team have obviously had a lot of players coming back in from injury this week. How do you assess where the team are at the moment with that?
Look, the first game against Australia was quite a bold move on our behalf. The players stood up to it. Second game against India, they've gained some good form and obviously a good performance and result. So I think we're heading in the right direction.
Today you play Spain at 10 a.m. on the 27th of July. That'll be your opening game of the Olympics. How much will this help you as prep for that?
Look, I think every game that we play in the Pro League is important for us. Time-wise, 10 a.m. we train every time at Bisham 11 to 1, so it's pretty much copy and paste from Bisham Abbey. This is about performance here and Pro League performance and points.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
Boya, a match today against Great Britain. How ready are Team Spain and what have you been working on in the off days?
Yeah, how are you? Today is going to be, as everyone else match is going to be a tough and physical game, of course, like always against GB. So we are ready, we are prepared to do that.
You lost 4-1 in the previous game against Great Britain. What changes, what focus points do Team Spain have?
Yeah, we are focused on today's plan. I think we have to be more intense in both circles, and I think we have to go as quick as we can to the opposite half and then be patient and choose well.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
That's what they're playing for. I misread my stats slightly. It was actually the Champions Trophy of 1988 in the final round that Spain got a 2-1 win against Great Britain 6 months before. There is Convambura and Seb Mikkelsen. Umpires for this one. Mascot by their side. Flags available from the Great Britain shop this week have been incredibly popular. Alvaro Iglesias leads the Spanish Red Sticks out. A team who make 4 changes from their match against Germany that they nearly won 4-0. They won it 3-0 in the end. The likes of Bruno Font return, the likes of Pepe Cunil, Jordi Benastra. Fabulous creative player for them. And now listen to the noise. As David Ames, a very inspirational captain for this team, 60 caps in an Irish shirt, runs out for his 200th cap in international hockey ever, including those Irish caps as well. Great Britain, England and Ireland represented by him. A much-changed team today. As they rotate, they look at who is available to them. Great Britain, as all these teams are, preparing for 10 a.m, 27th of July, the start of their Olympic campaign against Spain. A little extra crunch to today. We're now going to have the national anthems of the two teams.
Please remain standing for the national anthem of Great Britain.
Local school children, 32 local schools invited along by Great Britain Hockey today to watch the local legacy of the 2012 games alive and well. 64 schools in total. The toss is complete. A Dutchman and a Belgian will be the umpires. David Ames gives an extra little tap to Jordi Banastra, wishing well to a team. These two teams know each other very well. Shipley coming back in also for Great Britain. One of many changes, as I mentioned. So for Paul Revington's team, Mazzarello, outstanding so far in this competition, comes in. 4-3-3, Williamson, Albury, Creedon, Tim Nurse, a young and exciting back four. Gall, Ames and Morton. A mixture of styles in the GB midfield. And then Goodfield, Shipley and Nick Bandrak in the goals earlier in the week in London. He's back in today. And on the bench, Draper, Sloan, Payne, Salisbury, Calnan. Gareth Furlong comes back in, offering his very good potency from the top of the circle, and Alan Forsyth. Forsyth, who wears the number 77 shirt. He's played 53 times, including today. Forsyth for Great Britain. Calzado starts in goal once more for Spain. 4-3-3 is their preference today. Revilla will be the backup goalkeeper for them. Banastra, Alonso, Gispert and Ignacio Rodriguez. To the back four, the midfield. Di Ignacio Simo, Miralles and Pepe Cunil coming in. And up top for them, Marc René. Bastera hat-trick hero last time. And Villayonga, 46 caps including today, to a young starlet of this Spanish team. On the bench, Recasens, the captain Iglesias, Revilla, Manini, Vizcaino, Clapez. And coming in is number 61, Bruno Font. Font, who has played 22 times. There's Paul Revington. excited to see his team go again today, excited by the prospect of Australia tomorrow. And on the bench today, due to an illness to Max Caldas, the head coach, and we hope Max is okay and back soon. It is Boya Movila who will lead the Spanish team today. Welcome along. Lee Valley is our venue. All in white are Spain. Jordi Benastra wins the free hit off midfield of Great Britain in the red and dark blue with the white trims. My name's Dan Strange, alongside me Simon Mason. Simon, 4-1 to Great Britain last week when these two teams played. How do you see today panning out?
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, morning to you as well. And it's Spain have obviously brought in pretty much all of their experienced players after a relatively low-key last leg, and that gives them a lot more options. But I do believe it's exactly what Boya Movila talked about, which is their intensity. If they can match GB shoulder to shoulder and create the intensity and the counter-attacks they want, then it'll be close. If they don't, GB are notoriously physical these days, and they could just power through Spain.
They could. There are a lot of changes. Lee Morton just gets that off the experienced and clever Gisbert, who continues his run up to the 23. How much do you think that and I know you and I talk a lot about rotations and changes in the program. How much do you think it unsettles teams having this many changes?
I've got to say, from what we've seen this season, and I think we've seen more rotations in this second half of the season than we've probably seen over a number of years, and that has something to do with the Olympics obviously coming. I think the players I'd almost look at it as almost the old rotation policy of substitutions.
Into the circle, lovely turn from Rene, goes to the baseline and runs out of ideas. An important touch though, takes it away for a long corner.
So if you look at within a game, you've got 70 substitutions. We see a replay of that, really well done down the right-hand side. Lovely ball in, pick, post and roll to find the baseline. Then a lovely nick tackle. But because the players are so adept at rotating through on 3 or 4 minutes, that's their performance in a game. I just think you look at that as now an extension. They expect to come in, they expect to step out. And the players are of such high quality in terms of their general ability that I don't think it makes a massive difference. But I do think you then look to hone it when you go into a major tournament, and you need the consistency.
Aubrey throws the arrow down the line. Morton had won the free hit. It's then wasted down that right-hand side by Tim Nurse, who retreats back in. The intensity etched on the face of Paul Reffington. A likeable character who asks for the very highest levels, Simon, from his squad, but he's also clearly incredibly well liked by them.
And I think that comes just from, I'm going to say, respect. If you understand or appreciate that actually your leader has a degree of competence and knowledge that is making you better, you will accept being pushed that hard. And therefore that, again, it's that cultural build-up and framework that the teams have that becomes so all-encompassing.
Bastida,
great ball.
Ball across, picked by Draper, who was a little bit annoyed, I think, at himself on the previous ball in, that he didn't pick it and it hit him. Jacob Draper plays his hockey, the European champions Pinoquet. A club that literally are opposite Amsterdam Hockey Club, and the oldest in the Netherlands. The Wagner Stadium.
All a bit narrow there for Great Britain as it came out to this left-hand side. Williams had nothing in front of him. Their shape had been pulled a little bit. Great Britain will want to stretch play. They've got that range of passers with Creed and with Ames and Draper as well, who can throw those overheads.
James Gore, ball on to Forsyth, who just clips it round the corner. Ball in, pips up off Bandrak towards Shipperley. First penalty corner coming. Good work from Tim Nurse down the right-hand side. And a lovely ball on from Forsyth round the corner.
There's a conversation about whether this goes upstairs.
In real time, Simon, it looked like it came up off Bandrak.
It did.
I think that may be what they're asking.
It's been given for lifted ball and therefore danger.
Good. Good. I can hear him. Can you hear him?
Okay, no. Can you please check if it was dangerous of the attacker or from the defender? Spain is saying that it was from the attacker.
Yeah, so Dan, the point you made was that who does this come off? It's really good around the outside from Nurse. Floats across. What's the touch? Because the first touch lifts into Bandrak's reaction is completely unnecessary. The ball's gone way, way away. Does he get a touch? This is the interesting. There is a defensive touch, but is there a second touch? Because if Rekesens touches it, yeah, there's double touch. Comes up off Bandrak's second touch. So the last touch there is off Bandrak. I think this will be overturned as a defensive restart because the first touch isn't dangerous. It's the other angle that you can see back from the left-hand side of the offensive left.
You weren't here, Simon, on Sunday. We saw some theatrics then. Nick Bandrak slightly in the auditioning for the West End there.
Yeah, I mean, Bandrak's reaction, the ball's gone way, way past him. He's just turned around and is kind of making that into something. But for me, there's a double touch. Bandrak's is the second. This is a Spanish restart.
Good.
Yes, Michael.
There's no clear reason to change the decision, so you can resolve the penalty corner and then lose the referral.
No clear reason to change their decision.
Well,
Sorry?
I find that remarkable because that's a clear double touch. So the first player lifts it, but it's outside of Bandrak's body line. So to me, there's no danger on Bandrak. Then Bandrak lifts it further into the middle of the defence. That's a restart, not a corner.
Williamson and Bandrak don't care at the moment because they got the opportunity to get it past Calzani. Lovely number one running from Clapez, but it's a re-award as it didn't hit Clapez's stick. There is with Calzado, 40th game today.
Really well chased down, great brave running.
Calzado, who plays for Club de Polo in Barcelona. They actually finished second in the playoffs against Club de Campo, who they beat the week before. Bandrak, great again from Clapez, saving Calzado any work. Ball's been busy, and he gets busy. Ball across the school children cheer. It's like something from 1992, isn't it, when that happens? But just so you know, they're all holding their gold placards up, which is lovely to see. But I'll explain the rule in a second.
Very brave running, right on top of it. Doesn't deviate at all, Clapez.
I hope we're beyond the point in hockey where we have to explain, but I will just explain because I also hope the new people are coming into the game, Simon. The ball did go in the goal there, but if you've never watched hockey before, it has to be touched by the attacking team inside the circle to count, the shooting circle, to count as a goal. So the fact the youngsters in the stadium were cheering, it didn't count as a goal at all. The play will continue. If you've got any more rules questions for us, Simon Mason's always happy to answer them. And you can go to FI Hockey.
Simon Mason will happily dig himself his own hole.
And then get it had to go out by umpires all across the world on social media. But feel free to throw them our way. Hashtag hockey at its best and hashtag FIH Pro League if you want to make sure Simon sees them. Now, Seb Mikkelsen calls, I'm trying to work out who he's asking for here. Pepe Cunil is being beckoned over.
Leave the ball after the whistle, okay?
Well, that was very blunt and very clear, Simon.
Yep.
Very clear indeed, and that's what you want. You just want a bit of clarity. Consistency, clarity, make it as straightforward for everybody as possible.
A cooler day here at Lee Valley. Wind cutting across the pitch. Actually blowing for once away from our commentary box and not into it. Sloan finds Aubrey. Aubrey nearly had the ball nicked off him by Bruno Font. Sorsby, another of the GB players to play in the Netherlands, plays at Den Bosch. His women's team on the national championship out there this year again. Sloan. Not the best ball you'll see this week, and James Mazzarella's gone sideline flying off after.
He's not getting there. That's the chance. You can see what he's trying to do. Help his defenders out, but Mazzarella's not that quick. Good interchanges from both teams. Spain now looking to stretch play. Just out of shot, a little bit of an interchange there by Marc René as he comes through on Draper. They're going shoulder to shoulder, two players who know each other well. Drake will relish the fight.
Moraes wins it against Sorsby, looking for Cassens. Forsyth thought about trying to take the interception. Aubrey. Club mates Aubrey and Forsyth. And then out to play it goes for a long corner.
It's going to be a lot wider than that, though. Spain have tried to restart it narrow to create better angles.
Ball has to be restarted on a long corner in line where it goes out of play, which is why Great Britain, Simon pointing out, were adamant it needed to be moved wider, otherwise Spain had an advantage. Moraes.
Morton a little bit late out of that defensive press, which gives the ball in.
Theo Younger was there. Free out given. A good passage this from this Spanish team.
Nice little reverse stick ball in that just gets bobbled fractionally into the baseline space. No danger to anybody. 50-50, stepped across, good field, just about gets enough stick on it.
Lovely buzz, lovely hum around the ground. The game could do with a goal to really set the expectant youngsters in the crowd off here. Furlong, will it be him again? A good start to his international career for Great Britain. Simon. Can't argue with his goals to games ratio so far. Morton's not that tall, and someone in the crowd's had to try and catch that. On the bounce, luckily. He says it's mine, I'm keeping it. Put it in my pocket, get it signed at the end.
I think the ball patrol might have something to say about that.
I'm not sure Great Britain hockey will want all their lovely match balls being removed. It's not baseball. Moraes.
Yeah, Moraes would appeal for that, and I agree with you. As he took that down, two Great Britain players weren't anywhere near five. He was allowed it to see if he could get any advantage. The tackles came in and denied him.
Lovely ball, Bastero was there, Reyes on the back post, danger given.
But what a save. You're absolutely right, Dan. Sorry to cut across you, the danger was there, but if you watch the save just after the whistle, as it comes across, slapped in, takes a couple of touches, watch Mazzarello in the back of the shot, comes off his core. Oh, he doesn't save it. I was convinced he'd actually pick that. I'm really sorry. I saw that as a save.
It was Bastero and Rene with the overhead slam. He missed it. Well, James Mazzarello will be delighted with Simon Mason's words, because if it was radio, no one would know the difference.
Can you remember Mazzarello's save on that far Pro League last year? I think it was. He came for Skull.
New Zealand.
I'm genuinely certain he made that save. Well, that's what happens. You take a weekend off.
There have been some very impressive ones. I hear you're in the goals of the weekend as well. Rumour was. Ignacio Simo.
I'll mention it once and that'll do. Yeah, just the one.
Despair. On from Nacho. Lovely ball. Cut out by Brendan Creed. High up the pitch, Brendan Creed, for him.
Great movement now. Shipley goal. Aubrey just got the ball stuck under his feet. Shipley's run. Creed did very well as he took that first ball to understand the space was left side, not right side. Aubrey the same, knew where the space was, but just got caught under his toes.
Ames. It's an interesting one, this setup today for Great Britain, Simon, because they look to me like an incredibly organised unit as Aubrey comes forward. I'll come back to that in a moment. Aubrey gets cut out and free hit given as across went Theo Younger, who is a sturdy defender and then very, very creative going forward. Aubrey in, across it goes, hits some protective gear next to Calzada's goal. Long corner given. Creed. No ball looking for Morton, who was put off well by the call of Alonso. I'm not saying Alonso did anything illegal, he just called loudly.
This was the ball that Aubrey then put in on the hit, and it takes half a touch. Good from good field as he gets that little nick, but too much on it. That's a nice cut in field.
The turn of Font, the drive of Font, and then skying it from Font. Did everything right until the shot.
Just shows the advantage of raw speed. We pick and move. He's gone all the way round Furlong, just gets underneath it, cuts through the base of the ball. Difficult skill technically to execute on the run like that. International players will think they can, quite often do score from it, but so easy to just get low and underneath it as you dip down.
It goes to Creed once more. Ball out to the right-hand side where Ames just pings it back across.
A lot of space left if Great Britain can turn the transfer around. Creed's a good pop out to the right of these pictures.
Draper, bouncing ball, Bandrak fancied it. Danger given. The point I was going to make about Great Britain's squad today is very structured clearly. Are they slightly, by going so structured, lacking a bit of that flair with the likes of Wallace, the likes of Ward, and others missing as Clapez collects? Creed couldn't quite protect his left foot. And Clapez, who's having a fabulous game in terms of the hard yards he's putting in.
Well, first and foremost, that run from Clapez was outstanding. The speed that he showed to collect that through ball was just electric down the right-hand side, and that raw speed for Spain is one of their advantages they have at world level. They are so quick on counter.
You're sick.
Free out given Great Britain's way.
Going back to your question, and yeah, some of those rotations, yeah, you could argue that without Waller, without Wallace, it takes a little bit of creativity out of the side, but then you look at who comes in, and it's fractions, and that's what they're looking at this point. They're going, well, if we play with that, what does it change things? And you're probably talking about 5% differences offensively versus defensively, structurally. Play with those tiny margins now, ready for the summer.
Pulls it back, looking for Shipley, who tries to get into the back space, tries to find Ignacio Simo, and it goes their way. It's an interesting conversation around strength and depth, because it's very clearly all these teams showing a strength in depth. I really believe for Spain, their strength in depth has developed massively in about the last 18 months or so. The squad that Max Caldas picked up after he took over from Fred Soye, and the squad they've got now, has young strength in depth as Mazzarello watches that one go out of play. The likes of Bruno Font, 15 seconds left. One of the players I'm talking about, though, Villayonga, probably a better example, as Morton, with 7 seconds left in the game, tries to throw the aerial ball. But Astra thought about hacking that high clear and thought maybe health and safety wouldn't be on his side. It's 0-0 after 15 minutes of a buzzy game of hockey. Little outcomes so far in terms of shots on target, but plenty of action to boot. It is Great Britain 0, Spain 0. In the penultimate day, match one of the penultimate day here at Lee Valley. Lots of time left to go. Simon Mason, we're going to have a look back at the highlights of that first 50.
Two sides who know each other very well. Great Britain got the first meaningful opportunity from a penalty corner. Banderac came in and was well charged down. Very good number one running off the line, aggressive, really good take. And then Spain got a little bit of space and they're allowed in front of Mazzarello's goal, and the touch on the far post or whistle had already gone as they got an opportunity, took a touch on the way up and through, and that was considered to be dangerous. Over and above Furlong as the last defender. The touch on the far post from Rene came to nothing. Great Britain then forced it in, and Goodfield with a little deflection behind himself past that near post. There's the little reach past the left-hand post.
The highlights showing that at the moment those type of connections that the likes of Forsyth like to get, and it's happened at the other end as well with Rene. Just the ball's getting there. Just difficult chances to put away as well as Boya Morvelin.
And the circle connections feel about the same for both teams at the moment, but I would suggest that Spain are possibly just shading it with some of the counter-attack opportunities and the intensity through those midfield channels. Feels like they're fractionally on top.
James Mazzarello turns, as does Calzado. No changes in goal for either team. Great Britain are set and ready to go. Spain, whose restart it was, suddenly sort of realising. Bruno Font raced across. Welcome back to the action, it's 0-0. Forsyth chasing Moraes and Spain in the white on the ball. Now to play, it goes down that right-hand side. Good field picked up. Great Britain's right, I should say. Draper drops it back to Sloan. Sloan just a little bit short on the aerial, but Hall thought he had the opportunity there. Mace, just explain that one.
Yeah, you could see the angle of pass. Sloan's trying to throw that from middle of the pitch out to that right-hand midfield line, and he's got to see that he's got the space of a player in space to throw it to, but everybody's congested space, very quickly blown as Kumbambunga looks down the line of it. Too many players in that congested area. Turned over defensive restart.
Cristiano. Calnan in front of him. Forward comes Moraes. Goal scorer for Spain so often. From the top of the circle, from the penalty corners. Vizcano gets high here. Moraes looking for the... I thought he was going to go the aerial route. He decided against it. Recassen's up high as well. And then look at the work from Furlong. Coming in, stealing the ball. Morton immediately to Calnan. Great Britain immediately to Nurse. Look at the rotation. Look at the fluidity to this team at the moment. Nurse, beautiful stick skills. And then gives away the free hit.
Fabulous down that left-hand side. Callan's initial pass to Nurse is almost a blind one that floats it into space. Nurse a little fortunate to get away with it. He puts a stick in there on Gisbert, gets past him, then pivots, takes it to the air and tries to find a foot. Doesn't get the touch as Callan comes in on support.
Draper. The angle created for Goodfield. Morton, Scottish player. It's been a good week for the Scottish players within both squads this week. Of course, Jess Buchanan, the Great Britain women, making her debut and playing very, very well indeed. Has she put her name in the hat for a Paris spot? We wait to see. Very well, but obviously inexperienced at the moment in the international sphere.
Yeah, I'd say that would be a brave selection choice at this point. I understand that players come into it. It is all about form, but in an event like that, with so little experience, would you go with that much of a risk? Because all of the distractions that surround the Olympics mean that a degree of maturity is beneficial.
Into the circle. Away goes Nurse, away go Great Britain. Forsyth on the ball. Spain flock across. Again, Clapez, excuse me, is there. Of course, it's an interesting one within the Great Britain women's setup with Sabi Hesh doing all she can to be back from injury. Amy Tennant came in, experienced head, played very well in that shootout and the game generally against China. Made a stunning double save in that game as it was thrown forward by Aubrey. Williamson. Shipley went and offered. Of course, Lynn Pritchard, who had been within the squad with Hesh, has been here all week, hasn't had many minutes within this week. You would almost have her as the favourite if Hesh doesn't make it, but has Buchanan stepped herself into the mix? We wait to see. Salisbury, aerial ball. Those teams at the Olympics take 16 with some reserves as well. Can only come in if injury or illness took a player out.
Yeah, that rule from Tokyo obviously has, been rescinded. It was only brought in specially for that because of the heat and because of COVID issues. So therefore being able to drop players out and bring players in was for that tournament specifically. Whereas now you can obviously rotate in, but it's a permanent rotation in for injury or illness.
Canel wanted the ball on the right-hand side, didn't get it. Hints a back stick there and play on, said Kumbambunga. Alonso. Shipley misses it. Bandrak gets the free hit. Morton pops it on, easily collected by Despair. Too thin, clearly fouled.
So careful there. Forsyth just gets his lines a little bit wrong. You do need to put pressure on the ball so that your opponent can't release it easily. That's a lovely reaching touch. Great drop-off.
Villajonga onto the left-hand side. Getting up in there is Kunil. Mazzarello, Rene! Free out given.
That scramble goalkeeping that Mazzarello is becoming a little bit renowned for. Ball comes in, Spain have counter-attacked very well. There's a half touchdown, it's not enough on it, but then it's a lovely recovery. The back foot punch shot into the turf. Mazzarello gets enough, good left-hand position, then gets, oh, a back stick in the middle of that, and then back stick from Rene. If they'd referred it, you got to say, they don't have a referral left, they've lost it, so they couldn't have done anyway. However, there's a back stick from Mazzarello in the middle of it.
Shipley. Still going. Pops it in on Benastra. Bandrak, it was more fortune than anything. Shipley tries to help it on. Gall was there. Well brought away. And Villayonga it is alongside Nacho Rodriguez. Spain at the moment, as we see Koen van Bunger, the most capped Dutch umpire in history now. Spain at the moment riding their luck a little bit in the last third, but very much holding their own as well defensively. And, of course, with the likes of Rene up top for them, and Bastir as well, always dangerous on the counter. Now, Shipley comes forward, slightly isolated. Good tackling from Recassens then. And Van Bunger just reminds everyone they need to be 5. Sorsby, keen photographer within the squad, who is...
Problem for Spain down is simply numbers. If you give your opponent this many circle entries, how long until you get penalised?
Agree. It's free. We're together, guys. Can't do anything else.
Clapez continues to barrage forwards and work ridiculously hard, and he may win the ball off Draper here. He doesn't, and
You touch it.
Jacob Draper just thanks Seb Mikkelsen for agreeing with him.
Super left foot take from Draper as you go through there. He reaches and he picks that at full extension, takes enough on it, then gets a second touch, which means he had the ball as a stick tackle from Clapez comes in behind him.
Ames has Font in front of him. Goes back to Brendan Creed.
It's not massively dissimilar, Dan, to how the Spain-Great Britain game sort of played out in the first time a few days ago. Is that the defensive structure for Spain is very similar, as you would expect. They're not going to do anything massively different. They sit quite deep. They're happy to invite the pressure, let Great Britain play sort of 40 metres in front of them around those angles, and then try and counter-attack. Their counter-attacks look dangerous. It's just how many circle entries do they allow Great Britain to have?
Alonso, at the moment from the circle entries, Great Britain has just been a little bit messy inside the circle as the slip from Goodfield.
That's the problem, and you look at how many times has Calzado had to touch it.
Andrak's carded, green card given. He races off to sit down to start the 2 minutes clock. School children in front of us trying to start a Mexican wave at the moment as Williamson loses the ball. Font tacks it across. Morton tries to grab his way out of defence and then explodes his way down the right-hand sideline, winning the free hit just inside the sideline.
Shows how much pace and skill Morton has. Real control over a very small amount of turf as he came, from pretty much just outside his goalkeeper's right post.
Marias can't, I was going to say can't keep it in play, but he's actually thrown off by the Great Britain player from the aerial. Gispert.
Now a good stretch. Spain recognising they've got that additional player. They have to draw Great Britain, narrow one side and then get across as quickly as they can. Gispert takes this really high position down out to the right of these pictures up in the top corner. They've got a two-player overload here down the right side.
Clapez, Font turns, crosses, just flashed away from Manini, the old-timer in the group. Oh, again, who did that hit? In front of Mazzarella. I think it was Mazzarella initially, then maybe Bastera. Play continues. Morton, hand says the umpire Mickelson, and Morton goes 3D, and he tries to wind and weave and turn Rakassens, who eventually gives away a free hit.
Eventually kicks it. They're just spinning on the spot as Morton makes Rakassens peel. I think he gets a defensive touch potentially from Nurse in front of him. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Stepping in front of that, Furlong actually. Then this, brilliant from Morton. Watch the hip rotation, outside the left foot, defender comes in, takes him back out again, pulls him back in. Rexons kicks it, it's all he can do.
The Glaswegian. Former Reading player Lee Morton. Spent a long time now down in the southeast of England. Fiayonga. Spain spreading the play well. The likes of Font, the likes of Reine up in the circle for them. Don't forget that last year, this match, Spain won 3-2. Gisbert makes a error.
Oh, that's a great bit.
Good field wins a penalty corner. He had body position, he used it well.
They've got no referral. They're talking to each other, the umpires.
From where I'm standing, it's not a
Guys, going to be a bully.
Yeah, to me that was a clean defensive take in real time.
It's a stick.
And then therefore it's time. Okay? So it's going to be bully here.
It's a stick for me.
No, I wouldn't.
So as this comes in, Forsyth picks it and runs. He's got space. The discussion is about, so it's good field even, whether this is stick or foot. It looked like stick in real time. Yeah, there's a stick touch in there, and then there's, it should have been a Spanish ball, but the nature of it is the bully.
The humility of one of the absolute best umpires in the world. He conversed with the other umpire. You sometimes see in sports in general, umpires, referees, you know, they make a decision. No, I'm going to stick to my decision there. Kun van Bunge, humble enough to go, I was wrong. We move on from it. And that game management is what I believe sets the likes of him apart from other umpires, not just in hockey, just generally in officiating. It's that ability to maybe not take yourself too seriously, but know that when you make errors, you can move on from them with a smile on your face and everyone's happy. Draper will restart. Albury now comes in to take. Furlong alongside him. Ball pace a little bit shaky from Furlong that time.
Oh, Great Britain really probing, but Spanish defence, the way they're shifting, there's a synchronicity about how they're moving. It's really good to see.
Morton, lovely from Morton, but it was stripped off him.
But
Spain's again by Clapez.
It's Spain's ability down in these deep defensive spaces that they're not getting eliminated one-on-one. So Morton there had touched the ball past the first defender. Oh, there's a lead. You know what's behind you if you're going to do that.
Morton's bouncing ball. Shipley wasn't close enough to it, and it flashed across the Spanish goal. But
yeah, we see Morton pulls back left to right. That's a great tackle. Gets the hand down. Clapez, really good defensive zone. Steps in behind. Double teams on Morton's run.
Fiayonga. Gall helped him out. And it's played through by Sorsby. But that final third connection at the moment for Great Britain isn't there, and Spain are relishing that fact. Ignacio Simo plays it into Ames.
Yeah, I thought Ignacio Simo might have tried to do a little bit too much there as Ames had stepped in. Great Britain just not finding that pass into the circle cleanly at the moment. Again, the goalkeeper Calzado quiet. Got skills.
Mazzarella waits, wonders where the ball will pop out to. Reine it was. Free hit goes Great Britain's way. Marc Reine is always such a potent force within this Spanish attacking line, even when he's not scoring many goals.
It's a lovely little layoff, then good defensive intensity from Ames in the middle. Look at the strength, gets his feet round so that he can drive the ball forwards. But for both teams, offensive and defence, that the athleticism and the dexterity combined about how well you can move and handle a ball in tiny little spaces to try and create that minuscule advantage.
Sloan. Creed plays it to Aubrey. A minute to go in the half. 1960 Olympics, it was 0-0. Looks like in the 2023-24 Pro League second game at half-time at least. It could be 0-0 as well, unless Great Britain do something here or Spain get a sudden counter. Taken down off the body.
Great Britain know that even with just these ticking down towards 30 seconds, there is time. If they can just manipulate some wide spaces and then try and find T-spots. I don't think they're going to find their way direct into the circle in a straight line because the Spanish defence is too good. They have to find baseline.
As that ball went towards Aubrey, he literally just glanced up at the clock to check how long they had left. Nurse bounces off the challenge. Free hit goes Great Britain's way. Sloan leaves it alone for Kalman. Poor ball to Ames, who had to dig it out. Aubrey plays it into the circle, and Calzado has to be right on his guard to the very last. And there is the end of the first half, and exactly what Simon predicted. All it took was this ball from Aubrey, flat as a pancake, skimming like a stone. It very nearly fell on a plate for Forsyth. Calzado, to be fair to him, Simon, did very, very well indeed. It's remained goalless, the type of opportunity that Alan Forsyth gobbles up for his lunch. Couldn't quite put it past Calzado on that occasion here at Lee Valley. It finishes after the first two quarters. Great Britain 0, Spain 0. Welcome back to Lee Valley, where this FIH Pro League game between Great Britain and Spain, 5th and 8th in the Pro League, is currently goalless. Both teams have been pushing all they can. Let's have a look back at the highlights of that first 30 minutes of play.
Spain wanted to sit deep and play to the counter-attack strengths and the speed that they have. They did indeed do that, created a couple of opportunities, and Mazzarello had to be sharp to cover those areas inside the penalty spot. His scrambled goalkeeping has been outstanding over the last 10, 12 days here in the Pro League. Spain, Marias at the back foot, pops it into the turf. Little touch in front of the goalkeeper as he sprawls. Left-hand save, bit of a backstick hint in there, and then a backstick off the baseline from René. Great Britain had put Spain under a lot of pressure, but it exposed some spaces at the back, and Spain kept rotating, found their way into the circle, and they really needed to be alive. Ames showing his strength to get that ball down and away in front of his goalkeeper, and then real Albury skill and dexterity to get that ball away. But Great Britain pushed back at times. Great Britain unable to get through a deep Spanish defence. They created very, very little until the final seconds. There was this ball as they recycled it, popped it out, and it came in on the backhand with, what, 3 seconds to go, a deflection on Calzado that he saved well, and Great Britain were denied. Goalkeeper playing very well behind that beautiful, clean connection. Took a little bit of a skip on the way through. Goalkeeper clears it as Forsyth dives.
Up into Forsyth's forearm by the look of that. Field goals, none. Penalty corners, a couple for Great Britain. They had a third awarded, which was then turned back around by Seb Mikkelsen. One green card given earlier in the game. Nick Bandrak went and had a 2-minute sit down. FIHProLeague.com if you want to check out any of the detail or statistics. There's Rafi Revere, national champion this year. Club de Campo goalkeeper, smaller than Calzado, but very, very, very agile and very highly regarded by the Spanish as well.
Plays a very similar way to Kiko Cortez used to do, doesn't he? Similar style. That's the problem, however, as we look back. It's whether you've got that leg length to cover out to the bottom corners.
Well, poor Rafa at the moment, we've gone on him, he's just let 3 in a row.
Well, unfortunately, Iglesias has absolutely smashed it into the corners.
He is a good goalkeeper.
4 out of 5.
Alvaro Iglesias is on the form that bought him a hat-trick, his first ever in India. As the crowd look on, it's sad to read the news just confirmed about Luke Madeley, his hamstring injury, keeping him out of the Olympic Games. That's been confirmed, and Luke, we hope, after the scans that he's had, that he's okay. The Irish team will have to do without one of their best defenders and drag flickers as well, as James Mazzarello comes back in. Just waiting for the interviews. Mace, a quick word on that. It's very difficult at this time because obviously no player wants to get injured ahead of the Olympics.
Yeah, and it's that balance that the players are looking for.
Charlie Broom is pitch side. We'll hear from him now.
No, not yet.
Sorry, we'll hear from him in a moment. Simon, just really quickly, very difficult because also for some it's not Luke in this case because his is a very severe injury, but it's that sort of time where it gets in your head a little bit. Paul Remington, I can see now down with Charlie Broom. Here's Charlie.
Paul, a very tight game. Your thoughts on that first half?
It was indeed tight. Again, a few chances either side. From our side, we need to get more phases of high transfer, try and keep Spain pinned back for longer. Ultimately, we've got to spread our wings a little bit and play with confidence.
How do you break this very difficult Spanish defence? Is it fast break or is it other things as well?
Probably a mixture of fast break, which has been our strength through the last few games, but again, long phases of high transfer, trying to work some opportunities inside the circle. Ultimately, also getting a few penalty corners will help.
Best luck in the second half. Thank you. I'll stay with us. I think we've got... Hi, what are your thoughts on that first half? Very tight game.
Yeah, I think we played well. I think it's been a high-intensity match. We need to be more patient in the opposite half, and I think that's all.
How do you break Great Britain down in the second half? How do you score a goal?
I think we have to be patient in the opposite half and be more serious in both cycles. Yeah.
Thanks, I love that. Best luck in the second half.
Thank you.
For me, Simon, the likes of Villalonga is a game changer, but up top for this Spanish team, they have got goals in them because of Jose Bastera, because of Marc Reine, and the way that those two interchange and interlink.
Yeah, they've got a beautiful understanding, and going back to what you said earlier on about the squad that Max Callas inherited and how he's developed the depth from the youngsters, there is some fabulous knowledge within the team about who they are, how they play and what works for them. They very rarely go beyond that, and that means that they are dangerous at all times because they know they stay compact. They don't sort of cough up many chances in their own circle, but their pace through midfield is really electric at times, and when they get a bit of confidence, if they were to go a goal up, at the moment, I think Great Britain would potentially struggle to get back through that goal up because of how Spain understand themselves.
Two evenly matched teams. 9 points the difference in the Pro League for them at the moment. Welcome back to the action. Second half underway. Great Britain 0, Spain 0 at the moment. Mirroring the first time these two teams played at Olympic Games. Hopefully, it won't be goalless. It rarely is in the FIH Pro League. I'm trying to rack my brains, and I know, Simon, that's going to send me down a rabbit warren of data and stats in the background of looking at when the last 0-0 in the Pro League was. It's been a 1-0 this season. I don't think there's been a 0-0. As Villalonga drifts away, Bastera with Creed. Oh, into the back space, and he just topped it into Mazzarello, wins the ball back into the back space again, ball across, and watchful by Ames. Well, there's that threat of Bastera.
Well, it's such a fine line as well as we watch the replays, I'm sure, in a minute, but as Bastera takes this, look how he protects the ball outside his body. There's no way Creed can get anywhere near that.
Nurse brings the ball out.
Those great pictures, that to me raises the question about how a player is allowed with the obstruction rule to carry the ball, because to me that's behind Bastera as he's leading. He's not leading into Creed's space, but is it obstruction because Creed can't physically get anywhere near that ball? That's more of sort of a philosophical thing than a rules thing. It's about where players are allowed to carry the ball these days.
Draper, Reine with the foul on him. Morton just shows and goes. Ball across, no one gambled. Well, Goodfield didn't gamble at least. Gall seemed to be absolutely smashed into.
Here we see that spin chance again. Mazzarello steps out, left hand, it's the peel back in, and then it's the steal in the middle of all of that as it comes in. Nurse couldn't get it away, and Great Britain breathe again.
All down the line from David Ames. Clips up off Villalonga to D'Ignacio Simo. Both players have played in Junior World Cups out in India, which have just been announced as the 2025 hosts of another Junior World Cup. Ball across towards Mazzarello, who's diving down there. David Ames.
Ames had to come in on the back of that, did very, very well, because there was some fabulous wheel spinning from Nurse. He got turned on the first take and then just couldn't get his feet back underneath him.
We spoke earlier as Moraes comes forward and lifts the ball. How that's going to sting. Goodfield goes across to check. It's Ames on the ground, isn't it?
Yeah, it takes half a touch on the way into Ames. Here we see that wheel spin. Nurse just can't get himself back, and it means that Ames has to dive behind him.
Now, David Ames is hobbling off. We've spoken about Paul Revington's respect within this team. I've never heard of a team talk so fondly of their leader as you do about these Great Britain players. With all the teams I've worked with across sport around the world, worrying for Great Britain to see an injury for David Ames here.
Yeah, but I'm going to read the ball pace off that and the little deflection. That's a bruise, nothing more, and it's gone into his knee and it'll hurt. But with that ball pace, you would assume it won't be anything more than that.
All over to the left-hand side. Nurse onto Morton. Huge feed drag from him, almost exaggerating it for the showmanship. Aerial ball thrown. Bandrak stands in the space, gambling that Seb Mikkelsen believes he was there first. Seb Mikkelsen doesn't believe he was there first, and Morton steals the ball for Bandrak. Nurse caught in possession. Aubrey's there. Furlong throws it into the space. A bouncing ball, a dangerous ball. Furlong comes back and almost won the ball back off D'Ignacio Simo, who Gets it back in the midfield. He's got Font ahead of him. He's got Bastille in the circle too. Clapez. D'Ignacio Simo, penalty corner, beautifully done. Painful for Furlong, pleasurable for Spain.
That's a great bit of attacking from Spain, from D to D all the way down. They knew the spaces that they could get. Furlong was the original chaser, and then Salisbury steps in. The tuck under the arm is in, and then there's the advantage. Furlong can't get his feet out of the way. He's just upright, stood up by the opponent.
Yeah, that's what you're playing. Because if it comes quicker to you, it's your ball, but it takes as much time.
Good job, guys. 5 seconds. Here we go.
Baconil and Jose Bastera are the options. It will be Bastera on red-hot form. He's absolutely zinged it. Bounces across, and instead of putting the ball away, Spain were appealing, and another penalty corner's given. Draper is down on the ground and in pain.
He somehow gets rid of the ball, but it was almost paused. It was in slow-mo, as if he's got a hit. Watch Draper come back into the picture. Mazzarello got some top of it. He knocks it down somewhere in here. Oh, there's the contact from behind him, just stepping in, trying to get in the goal as Alonso.
Nil left. Bastera on the right for the Red Sticks. It will be Bastera once more. Little movement and just wide of the mark as Mazzarello stepped across. Would say he had it covered.
Spain on this, they go to their left to try and then go right, so they just take it inside Creed's running line to slingshot bottom corner. Well, they've dropped back out again to this half-court press, so back inside their own half, holding on the halfway line, trying to give Great Britain no space at all.
Aubrey and Sloane. Sloane goes back to Aubrey, who has a lot of space out to Nurse, but he doesn't even glance over to the right-hand side. Nurse has not many people and a lot of space to run into had he gone that way. Draper, pressure on him from Manini, whose name we've barely said today, but he'll have always been working hard against the likes of Jacob Draper. Aubrey, Williamson.
GB's transfer has to be a two-pass. As they get pinned at left defender, they've got to try and make sure that Aubrey here, he's a little bit too narrow. He's got to look at the line of Bastera, get himself on that line so they can transfer in one. Otherwise, they get pinned in with this Spanish press. Nowhere to go.
Aubrey, now they break it. Manini backs away towards the circle. Draper, Williamson. Lot of space on the right-hand side. No one moving into it. There is what?
But the ball to Nurse, I'm really sorry, that structure's just wrong. As that base player gets it, the pivot player, as Great Britain come forward, they need to have wide movement.
Shipley goes across. Long corner given as the player just slips, and Manini comes rushing out once more to defend the space. Ball across. Calzado's there, Revere hasn't come in. Shipley, can he lift it out? Hits a post, comes back, and D'Ignacio Simo just dinks it away on the reverse step. Calzado gets a fist bump, a stroke of luck for Spain.
First ball in was hit so hard. Calzado's done well. The ball as it gets played in, that ball in, Calzado puts a foot in, it doesn't really see it. Really well picked by Gall, played into Shipley, and Shipley is just trying to dig this out. It squirts through and hits the post.
Square on the post and away. Great Britain have had their chance there. This game is so condensed down the Spanish right and the British left at the moment. Recassen's the nearest to the left-hand touchline as Spain's point of view must be 10 metres now from the sideline. The game really offset to one side at the moment. Finally, Recassen's hears me and comes walking out to the sideline. Lopez. He's had a good game. It's 0-0. Oh yeah, Morvalan watching on. Such a proud, traditional hockey-playing country, Spain. Very famous clubs, the likes of Club de Barcelona, Club de Campo, Megara and more. Into the top of the circle, Font turns, lovely offload. Clapez has managed to miss that one, not even put on target.
Has tried to open his hands to just squeeze underneath the ball into the near post as Mazzarello comes out, and I just think he softens his hands, I think, almost too much.
Well, the schools in the crowd are literally waiting to make some noise. I think even if Spain scored, they'd cheer at the moment. Goal, ball in towards the circle, picked off by Recassens, bought away by Recassens. The connection isn't perfect, but there was a clip on the way through, and it will be Spain's ball.
Oh, Vizcaino moments ago in the circle. Here we see this run in and through. Great pick on the edge of the D, real strength. Pick and roll off by Font as he gets his feet round. Then the poke through goes all the way back and in. Lovely. Opens his hands, not far away. Look at that. Great touch from Clapez.
Lovely steal by Gaul. There's a player down on the pitch. Vizcaino it is, who gets up and grimaces, clutching at his stomach.
Okay, cool.
Gaul misses the challenge. Ames, who's back on the pitch, and Simon Mason's prediction clearly correct. Gives away a penalty corner. Just couldn't quite get the reach around to make the tackle properly.
Just a little clip on the way through as Ames is probably all of half a metre, and he looks to the sky because he knows it's a legitimate call. Lovely little jab. There's the acceleration, and then Ames misses him. The clip across the shin pads of Canil gives Spain the opportunity. The whistle went straight away.
15, let's go.
I mean, Spain have another penalty corner. We've had 3 in this quarter. 6:19 left in the third. Still goalless. Marc Moraes is there. He's been a goal machine in his time. It is Moraes. Good save. Mazzarello comes back very, very quickly on Villayonga. Good save again, Mazzarello. Good save again, Mazzarello, and eventually is lifted up into the Spanish player for another penalty corner.
That's 3 stunning saves in a row. First one, great dive to his left. Mazzarello steps right, then comes left. That's a good save. It looks like it's down the middle, but with an offset goalkeeper. Then he gets up, makes another save, big right foot, but it comes back at him, and he scrambles on top of that one to then block it up and get it clear.
Comes again, Moraes again, big deflection past Bruno Font, and another penalty corner re-awarded. Moraes scored against Ireland, scored a couple against Egypt in the Olympic qualifier in Valencia. He's scored this year, none in 5.5 games for Marc Moraes.
Change of angle, opens up around the #1 runner, good field.
Joe Rodriguez doesn't connect properly with it, big deflection. And Spain don't manage to break this deadlock, which is awkwardly sat hanging over this game at the moment. Moraes. To Morton. And Van Bunge just stops time.
Stop.
Green card shown to Villayonga.
Yeah, that's all that was needed.
Was that for dissent?
No, Villalonga, watch it, he's so late on the swing. Oh, here we're seeing the ball. There's the pop-up. As it pops up, that's the one that misses from the penalty corner. The green card was because the second phase of play went back in, it popped up off a deflection, and Villalonga just swung at it after the whistle had gone, but it then hits the GB player on the way through. Everybody got calmed down really quickly. His reaction was immediate to apologise.
Morton into the bright yellow boots of the player who normally plays in bright orange, Marc Moraes. That's definitely a kick from Bastera. Creed, play allowed to flow by umpire Van Bunge. Kalman up high, or higher than Creed. Eventually that right-hand side of the pitch is filled with a Great Britain player. De Ignacio Simos stays narrow. Very narrow press from Spain, and it's working very well indeed. Ames wants the ball. Ames eventually gets the ball from Furlong. Finds Creed. Calnan sticking to his guns out on that right-hand side. Draper looking to find him. Calnan not rushing things, asking them to go to Creed initially.
Dan, I think in your questions at the top of the programme, you asked Paul Remington if this was a valid challenge. Did it have a relevance, that first Olympic game? And it has. As this clock ticks on, it has more and more relevance, because Great Britain have got to find a way to unlock this press. And more so, not just unlock it, but how they get anything on Calzado's goal. Because at the moment, the Spanish defence is so solid. The kind of that ability to cut through space for Great Britain is pretty much zero.
We've spoken at length about who can win in the men's competition. We'll talk a lot about the Women's Pro League later, the Women's Olympics later, but we've spoken at length about who can win the men's Olympics, and we've sort of said, oh, top 6 in the world. That is potentially a touch disrespectful. You know, Spain, that's a free out given, 8th in the world. India currently 7th in the world. Argentina 6th in the world. So were we going to expand the top 6 argument to the top 8? I can't see France 9th in the world winning an Olympic Games even on home soil. I can't see New Zealand. Sorry, New Zealand, I know you've just been promoted to the Pro League, and please don't hold this against me. I can't see them going to Paris and winning an Olympic gold, but stranger things have happened than, for example, Spain making a semi-final and then having an absolute stunner of, you know, they played World Cup quarter-finals against Australia and only narrowly lost 4-3, having missed a penalty stroke. Into the circle, Banjarak goes.
Great defensive touch. It's a valid question, Dan. I'm not sure. If you look at how Spain are playing, their defence today so far has been pretty much bang on perfect. But if you have to rely on defensive perfection, then you raise the question of, are you going to win Olympic Games off the back of that? I just don't see it consistently across the course of that tournament. I can see the occasional game, maybe a couple of really big results. I don't think that'll carry them all the way through to the title, but they could disrupt other people. And
that was what I was about, and I think Max Caldas, their head coach, will love that, because he'll be sat there going, I'd love to be a thorn in as many sides as I can be. The other thing that makes us have to, of course, extend our top 6 theory is Argentina are currently above India, 6th and 7th, and India have been within the top 6 for I can't remember how long at the moment, and we're very much in that mix-up, the speed with which the world rankings change nowadays in hockey with the new algorithms at play.
Well, the Argentina question is exactly the same as the Spanish question. It's almost a mirror of how those two teams play. It's a deep, compact zone defence with the counter-attack and the individual elimination skills. That's a pass.
Pepe Cunil drives on down the right-hand side, pops it back. Oh, not far away. Mazzarello is not a short goalkeeper, and he would have been worried for a moment there.
Well, I think Great Britain need to worry now, because Spain are finding opportunities on counter-attack. This is a lovely, pacey run. Great Britain struggling to get in the right lines. That is a fabulous little nudge from Font. And Great Britain are struggling. They want to play, Dan, as we know, at pace through channels. They want to run. They want to build up physically, aggressively. And Spain are negating that. They're taking the tempo out of Great Britain's game, which is very clever.
Nurse. You just want to mark your card, Nurse. It's the 27th of July. These two teams play again. Ball across, well dealt with, not very well dealt with by Cunil! And there, with a fabulous finish, is Connor Williamson. Williamson scores for Great Britain for the first time. You would not have been able to write that story. A game that needed a goal. And it comes from the most unlikely source. The youngster who has stepped into international hockey like a duck to water, but you wouldn't have backed him to score here, and he does.
Nurse round the back does very well to float it across. It's a horrible ball for Spain to deal with. Stepping up, Calzado gets a touch, but not enough of a touch. Pick, move, finish. Quality from Williamson in a tight space. That first touch, so good to get it across his body. Knows where he wants it, knows how he nudges it. Revington delighted. Great Britain take the lead, and while we watch that, have got a penalty corner as well. Straight from centre pass.
Connor Williamson goes to get the word from the bench. He actually made his international debut, not for Great Britain, but for England. Just last year in Barcelona. The Spanish narrative running through Connor Williamson's fledgling international career continues. This is the penalty corner. Shipley, massive hint of back stick.
Huge back stick. But I think there's only 21 seconds left in the game, in the quarter, on the game clock, Dan. This would be so destructive for Spain if this went in.
Bandrak comes forward. Save from Calzado, having another good game. James Gall turned as if he was celebrating. There he wasn't. He was asking for a ball from Ball Patrol. And here he goes off with a mop of curly hair bouncing towards goal. Ball in is towards Bandrak. The crowd now have something to cheer as the hooter goes. Well, Connor Williamson, of all the people you would have predicted, and granted, to be fair to him, he's only played, well, this is his 14th career game, so to say he doesn't score many, he's only played 14 matches. The Men's Junior Performance Player of the Year for 2023 is the difference to Great Britain between Great Britain and Spain. It's GB 1, Spain 0. We'll be having a look back at the highlights in a moment. Let's have a look at them now, Simon.
Spain pinned Great Britain back for long periods in that third quarter. A triple save from Mazzarello just probably 5 minutes before the end of the quarter meant that it was still 0-0 between the two sides. Quality from the Great Britain goalkeeper. Dives left, gets up and back across. Scramble defence results in then a right foot save here that comes out. Spain is still on it. Mazzarello has to close it down. Gets on top of it enough. It's still a re-award. But Great Britain came back into it after Spain created some very, very long flowing passes round the baseline. The pullback was over for a little touch that looped over the crossbar. Bruno Font can't get enough on it, but Spain were dominating Great Britain for long, long periods. Great Britain, occasional forays forwards, broke down through the zone around the outside when they had a little bit of pace. The take from Nurse created the overlap, in and the float through. In the end, it's a kick clear, falls to Williamson. First touch was sublime, second touch was accurate, poked it in the bottom corner. Just watch the quality of the first touch from Williamson after the goalkeeper kicks this forward. Banderak's out of the picture, it goes back beyond him. Williamson's first touch across his body, second touch bottom corner. That's the goal that breaks the deadlock. Connor Williamson, the scorer, doing so well to control it.
Of course, Connor Williamson did score in the semi-finals of the Euro Hockey Championships for England. However, that was in a shootout, so it doesn't count towards his international statistics. And actually, to be fair to him, it was rather a more exuberant effort, Simon, because he had the audacity of youth, stepping up and stepping to the left-hand side of the goalkeeper to then flick it over the on-rushing German goalkeeper, if I remember rightly.
A fabulous finish, wasn't it? It just showed all the confidence of a young player coming into it, thinking he can just mix it up, step it up. Indeed did that. Oh, little poke forwards from Ames.
Morton gets dispossessed. Spain here. Strong performance from them. Forsyth gambled, took an edge, took pace off the ball. Villagona, can he be a game changer for Spain? Shipley wins the sideline ball. Nurse, who's been excellent today for Great Britain, finds Ames, who is, as ever, a constant, a rock for Great Britain. Spain sit deep. Manini bossing the midfield. How Spain need Reine, how they need Bastira, how they need Alvaro Iglesias to step up for them here. Sorsby, good hands from him, still going, picked off by Moraes.
You don't want players appealing down, but if Sorsby had taken that hit, we've seen those given for corners. as he came in down that right-hand side. The defensive step-in was just fractionally late. Nurse again, he's been brilliant.
Callan's touch on wasn't brilliant. Moraes, as Sorsby gets run into in the midfield. And Clapez, another player who we can say in that midfield battle has been exceptional. Clapez continues to run and run and run and run and then even win the ball. Offloading. Alvaro Iglesias just didn't see it and overran it. Villalonga. Moraes moves it on. No one's missing his shoes today.
Great disguised pass. Moraes opened his body up to fake the ball out to the right and then just used his wrists to flick it infield.
It's either just got very cold or started raining because hoods are going up around us.
They are. Nurse just has drifted. He's giving it away now, however. He needs to get up and away from that.
Rene deliberately didn't run himself into a left-hand corner where he saw no potential, no promise. Recassens, the drag flick option if Spain get any more penalty corners, although his goal-scoring prowess isn't sensational in the international game. Beautiful ball, well picked up by Kispert with the most gorgeous first touch. Offloads, Mazzarello saves with his hand, and then the penalty corner coming. Rene it was with the shot to Mazzarello.
Mazzarello saved yet again. He's having an outstanding couple of weeks. Left-hand save, blocks it low, takes the ball across the goal. Here we see it again, sliding past in that little step out. Morton needed to put a stick into that. Gisper across his body, finds the ball under there, and then Mazzarello, lovely low block to his left.
15. Good job, guys. Perfect. Everyone ready?
Moraes and Recassens stand ready for Spain. Marc Moraes comes forward, big deflection from the #1 runner, Goodfield. Now the penalty corner has been awarded.
Ready?
Out it comes again. Moraes once more moves it and finishes it. A lovely finish from Marc Moraes from, what was it, their 7th, their 8th penalty corner. Moraes finds the bottom corner. Mazzarello, who's been exceptional, is finally beaten. It's taken quality. It's taken Marc Moraes.
Topcastle goes round the #1 runner. That's impossible for Mazzarello to get anything on it, and Sorsby is pulling across the line of the ball. Such a wide flick. Very, very difficult to execute from Moraes, but he does it brilliantly.
Is he an underrated drag flicker? I'm not sure he is. 40 goals now in his career, I said. None in 5, now 1 in 6. But he scores, Simon, for me, goals when it matters. He does score important goals for Spain.
Fair claim. I mean, he's not one of, you wouldn't put him up in the world's top 5, but he's certainly not underrated. No. It's a bit like, I'm going to put him in the Sam Ward school of flickers. He's one of those, so the top 5 in the world, you put Wardy in, I would put Wardy just fractionally outside that, but then all of them, they score big goals at big moments, so you can never kind of discredit them in any way, shape or form because of the effectiveness of what they do.
Simon Mason trying to send me down another statistical analysis, and I haven't necessarily got time with what's going on here. Brendan Creed, Ward sitting out today, does have 125 career goals, which is 85 more than Marc Moraes' career. Gall. Back to Ames. Goodfield. Pulled back. Forsyth trying to... Alan Forsyth! That is ridiculous! That is sensational! That is the goal of the Pro League for this season! I cannot believe what we've just seen! That was one of the nicest goals you will see, and it makes it 2-1, and it's come from the upright reverse of Alan Forsyth.
Quality. the composure from Forsyth in the circle. Goodfield's eyes are up all the way on that run in. Gets the ball outside his right, goes to the air to get it into the space. Then a lovely little reverse backwards. Forsyth sees it, picks it, touches it. It gets a lovely little there, and then upright, top corner. Does it get a defensive touch? I don't know. Great finish. It's all about Goodfield's quality of the run, and then Forsyth gets enough on it. But again, the same as Connor Williamson. See where the shooting space is. Your first touch takes you there, the second touch finishes.
Well, that was exciting. Alan Forsyth, one of those players you have to, as Bruno Font picks up the ball inside the circle, he goes the reverse, Mazzarello saves, backstick him. You have to admire the mental resilience of Alan Forsyth in another mix for another Olympic Games. The rain is definitely falling now.
Was it just, Seba, was it just a collision?
For me, there was nothing more than just a collision.
And just going back to
Just like
your
easy.
Sam Ward, Mark Mariah's conversation, I've just had a look. And this is really interesting, actually. Ward, for Great Britain only, not including his England stats, which I could bring in, but I won't at this juncture. Great Britain versus Mariah's playing for Spain. 107 caps, Great Britain. 58 goals, very good return, of which 23 penalty corners.
Oh, just seeing that as Bonastra runs into Callan. That's the replay that the umpires were, that's the play that the umpires were then thinking about. This is blown for backstick, which is absolutely right. But it's that contact of Bonastra into Callan, though, saying, is that serious physical play?
Morton. Well
That's
worked
a
by
great
Vizcano.
tackle. What a tackle that is.
Sorry, so Ward scored 23 in 107 matches for Great Britain, penalty corners, that is. Mariah's 22 in 112. That's just the Great Britain-Spain statistics. Interesting little look at that. Mazzarello has to cover as Albury does well in front of him. It's raining here in Lee Valley. Spain are looking to get back in to this game. They're 2-1 down.
Great ball across. The goalkeeper has to get right behind it, show that he's there so Albury can scramble it away, stay strong.
I'm just going to put a little asterisk on my earlier commentary, Simon Mason. For me, the best goal in the Pro League this season so far, just in case there is a better one. Because you did glance at me as I said that.
Yeah,
a gorgeous goal.
There's just so many,
finish.
Dan. I mean, we're in this privileged position that you see one and you talk about it, and then another one comes along that almost takes it out of your imagination. If we look back through the highlights, I think there'll be several that were of that kind of class, but it doesn't matter. Is it the best? Is it just exceptional? Doesn't matter which one it is.
Down the line, Manini collects. Have Spain got that creativity which we know they've got on the counter-attack? We know they've got the quality within them. This is kind of franking your discussion earlier, Simon, about the sort of team that can really cause bother to those that are right at the top. Well, this Spanish team very much in this and trying to be exactly that today. Iglesias lost the ball. Calnan can come away. He's got Sorsby racing up ahead of him. Calnan bursts through one challenge of Alonso, wins the free hit and slows everything down. Calnan follows up by getting substituted and off he goes. Nurse, very good today. Draper. Out to Nurse again. He's been everywhere for Great Britain today, as Clapez has been everywhere for Spain. Back goes Draper. Not 5 for Spain. There's Alonso. Oh, now the slip. Forsyth. On the reverse. Oh, aiming for the top corner again. Didn't quite find it that time. Calzado had to be equal to it now.
Talk to me, don't shout at me. It's 5 meters away. It's definitely 5 meters. No.
Talk to me, don't shout at me.
So Forsyth already picked this. Is there a hint of backstick in the shot? Is that why it was blown? From our angle straight down the line of it, it's just going top corner. I didn't see any problem with this at all. The goalkeeper was covering that far top corner as it was going across goal.
There wasn't actually a signal from Seb Mikkelsen as to what it was he was giving it for.
A pass.
The circle, good fill, no space, goes the 3D route. Free hit given. Spain defending stoically here. They're 2-1 behind at the moment. Great Britain looking for another Pro League win.
This is really interesting now how this final quarter has panned out, because it felt like, I genuinely think that Spain bossed territory, possession, chances all the way through the first 3 quarters. And then Great Britain suddenly came out with a little bit more energy, and it's opened things up for them. Goalkeeper's off.
Calzado getting off for a chance for Spain to bring an 11th outfield player in as Alonso goes for a rest as well.
No. It's here. Top of the D. As always.
Was for Spain.
If he's putting pressure, yes, it does.
Last win against Germany was comprehensive, although it's before Germany brought all their main stars back in. Before that, a run of losses against Argentina, Belgium.
Time is still stopped, and I'll have it on the top of the D, please. Right. Thanks.
4 in a row.
Now that gives them enough time with 5.5 to go. You need, statistically, it's that 5-6 minute window to score a goal. There's no point in doing it with about 90 seconds to go. You've got to give it something a little bit longer.
Spain have spread the play. They've great ball onto Clapez, who has pace. He has the ability to get there. He does get there, drives the baseline. Good ball across. Oh, gilt-edged chance. Rene has his hands on his head.
Spain have used that overlap perfectly. Clapez down the right side, had all the time because they had the extra number. Rene gives the little shove to create the chance and then misses. He's given himself every opportunity. He's got Sorsby out of his way with a little nudge in the back.
Well, the sun is now out, which will be pleasing for the fans, at least, who are now very much reawakened after that goalless first half. It's 2-1. Spain playing in their ultimate match of this Pro League, looking for their second win in London. The first came against Germany. Great Britain looking for win number 7, which would move them just 2 points shy of India, who are 4th currently. Great Britain have 1 game left after today in London. It comes against Australia before they head on over to Utrecht and then Amsterdam in the Netherlands. Rodriguez. Iglesias all the way over at left back for Spain at the moment. Bouncing ball. Despert. Clapez. Still Clapez. Beautifully posted up by Bastera, then goes creative onto the reverse, still shielding the ball well. Rips it across. The pick of Aubrey, who just dinks the aerial out.
Tell you what, you're in trouble. Pretty much on your own penalty spot. You're going to pick it clean and then just flip your wrists, lob it over the top. You've got to love the composure of players at this level who can just see danger points and avoid them.
That's well picked by Sorsby. It is players at this level, but I do believe that this Great Britain team and the way they play has changed beyond measure in the last, 3 years, 2.5 years? That comfort on the ball that they have and the willingness to go forward and be creative.
I had this conversation with somebody over the weekend at the hockey I was at about, I believe this is the best British men's side that I've ever seen. Full stop. All the way through.
Beyond the 1988 gold medal.
That's a different game if we go back that far down. I mean, I don't think you can compare that.
But you saw that team.
Yeah, saw that. But it's a different game. It was quality individuals, but the game now is played in a whole set. It's always a different dimension. I mean that very specifically with the overheads, the long balls, etc. I know you had the old clip here. I get that, but it's a different sport now. So if we look at the last, I'm going to go 20 years. This is the best British men's team in the last 20 years, without a shadow of a doubt.
Of course, Spain women 1 goal back in the early 90s. Spain men 3 times Olympic silver medalists. Great Britain women, who are incredibly successful in terms of how many times they win medals or have done for the last 5. Gold, of course, in 2016, but Great Britain men, the last time they were on the podium, 1988. They won gold Corner given.
What a tackle that is. Again, Kumbambunga, I think there you're realising how quality an umpire he is, because the danger there, in the heat of this game with less than 2 minutes to go, you see that as a deliberate play off the baseline, whereas it's the only option Draper has in the circle is to make that touch, so it's not a deliberate knock, and I love that understanding, and no player's appeal, which suggests the umpire's got it bang on.
Play.
So we've got left 1 minute 20. No one in goal for Spain. Bandrak does the battling and wins a long corner. Simon Mason really quickly. Your player of the match for this one?
It's a cut between two. Tim Nurse would have been the outfield player, but I genuinely think it's Mazzarello in goal. He's made, I reckon, 6 or 7 saves that have massively impacted the outcome of this match. So for me, a bit of goal union, however, I think it's well deserved. Mazzarello, player of the match. Talk about impact. Nurse running him a close second.
I was going to say that Tim Nurse performance as well in the midfield, matching Clapez, who's been phenomenal for Spain. You've got to keep.
Oh,
Morton wins the free hit. He's got 37 seconds. He looks around, looks at the clock and thinks, what's the point in rushing here? And then tries to tempt Rene, who does steal well. De Ignacio Simo, a last chance for Spain. Rene at full tilt, cuts in, cuts out. Ball across field, wins the free hit. Jordi Benastra, quiet game for him today. Calnan accidentally gets his feet in the way.
Accidentally kicks it twice.
Despaired. Brave from James Gall. Nothing given by Seb Nikielsen. Look at the celebrations from Will Calnan from Great Britain. Spain were brave. These two will meet again. They will meet again on a higher stage than this. On day 1 in Paris of the Olympic Games. It took a very, very special goal indeed to decide this one of Alan Forsyth and some excellent goalkeeping from James Mazzarello to keep Spain at bay. Marc Moraes, their only scorer. Spain, 1 game left to play in their season in the FIH Pro League. It finishes here. Great Britain 2, Spain 1. Simon, a lot to go through there. A real close game with the context that they'll play again on day 1 in Paris. How do you see that game?
I think Spain bossed it for 3 quarters, I really do. I think they played superbly well defensively. They know what their structure is. They showed pace and ingenuity on counter-attack. They eliminated well through midfield. They pinned Great Britain back, and therefore that's why someone like Mazzarello in shot gets man of the match, because he made 6 or 7 game-defining saves. And it was only Q4 when Great Britain came back into it, they found some impetus, that they got in and created those opportunities and those goals. 2 great goals, but I think if you look at that, there'll be a lot of questions there that Great Britain have to answer moving forward. Little tweaks that show if you don't play at full intensity, that Spanish side is quite capable of containing your threat and then threaten themselves.
Well, the 2 teams wish each other well. They will see each other again very, very soon, where the stakes will be slightly higher. Although saying that, and it's a fair point to make, Great Britain very much have stated their intent. They want to go and win this Pro League. That puts them up now to 22 points with 5 games left to play. So my maths, that means they can get to 37 points still, which would take them 8 points ahead of Argentina, who currently sit top. Tim Nurse, absolutely exceptional. Just waiting for James Mazzarello to be down with Charlie Broom for a conversation. I can now see his pads underneath the advertising hoardings that will stand in front of. Well, player of the match, James Mazzarello, is with Charlie Broom.
James, congratulations, great performance. Thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, really tough game for us. We knew Spain would come out hard, and yeah, we knew we had to put in a massive defensive shift, and so proud of all the boys. Yeah, couldn't fault the effort, and some of the quality in defence was just outstanding.
You mentioned defensive shift. Spain were particularly hard to break down, as they are always. Matter of patience today.
Yes, no, 100%. We knew that their half zone is very, very solid and compact. We knew that we had to be dynamic on the ball, really shift them and try and get those gaps, and eventually eventually we managed to get those gaps and exploit them a little bit, but it took a bit longer than we were hoping. Yeah.
And a good test for you defensively. Do you enjoy those games, calling the defenders in front of you and the midfielders?
Yeah, no, 100%. It's always nice to be busy, and yeah, well, it's always nice when you end on the winning side and you've been busy. When it's not, yeah, it's slightly different.
It seems a bit pointless, doesn't it?
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, love being busy and love being able to make an impact on the team. Yeah.
Yes, and congratulations, well played today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
As we've spoken about with selection, of course, as Sam Ward, lovely scenes with Alan Forsyth. That is the character of that Great Britain team. These are forwards that are all competing for the spots, of course. We're going to go to hear from Charlie Broom. He's talking to the Spanish captain, Alvaro Iglesias.
Alvaro, unlucky today in terms of the result. Your thoughts on your performance?
I think it was good. When the keeper from the other team is the man of the match, it says something. So, yeah, I think we made 2 big mistakes defending, and it was their 2 goals. We still have to focus on that. It was the same on the first match. I think we were much better. And, yeah, we have to keep working on that.
Have you feel the team have improved through your stay here in London?
Yeah, sure. It's not easy when you come from a kind of week off and play at this level. I think... Yeah, I said it the other day. They scored in the first minute of the first 2 quarters. That's way too hard to correct in an international game. And yeah, I think we're getting better. And yeah, for sure. Hopefully, it's the first game at the Olympics against them. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting. But it was a very defensive, tight game today. Small. It was all about small margins.
Yeah, sure. In GB, it's a great team. They have really good players, and yeah, you see if you make 2 stupid mistakes and they get 2 easy goals. So yeah, we need to focus on that.
Well, you get the mistakes out of the system for the Olympics.
Well, we'll see now. It's day by day. It's difficult. I mean, I think all the teams are working the same way as we do. So yeah, we just need to make as many small mistakes as possible.
Alvaro, pleasure as always to talk to you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Bye.
And congratulations to Belen Iglesias, his sister, who's just been promoted to the Pro League, who will go, of course, to the Olympics, and, of course, his wife as well, who is part of that Spanish team, Bajona Garcia. We're going to have a look then at the highlights of that really enjoyable match in this Pro League.
Well, Spain had pinned Great Britain back for long, long periods, and it wasn't until the 4th quarter that they found a little bit of forward momentum. And Connor Williamson stepped up from a usual defensive backline to find the opportunity to take this off the goalkeeper. First touch across the body is beautiful. Second touch is precise into the bottom corner. It broke the deadlock. Spain still had opportunities though. Mazzarello, the man of the match, was beaten on that one, and they came back 1-1 with Moraes finding the bottom corner from a penalty corner. Out and round, slingshots into the bottom corner with real pace to level the scores up. Great Britain, though, they kept pushing, they kept probing, and Goodfield, with a little bit of genius, gave Forsyth the time, and he found an upright, sure-handed backhand into the top corner that Dan Strange thinks could be the goal of the Pro League this season. We shall see. But Goodfield control. Forsyth, first touch. Does it get a defensive touch up there and pops it? Doesn't really matter. Great goal.
It's been some great goals of the season generally. 2-1, 2 field goals to none in favour of Great Britain. Spain had 7 penalty corners. They scored 14% of them. Marc Moraes making it 1 apiece when he did so. A green card apiece in the game. Villayonga getting 1 and Bandrak the other earlier on for Great Britain. FIHProLeague.com if you want to have a look at any of the statistics. The Canary Wharf skyline and Olympic Park off in the background. So how does the skyline look in the FIH Pro League now? Argentina still top by a point. Australia, Netherlands, India, the top 4. Great Britain up to 22 points. Just outside that top 4 now with 5 games to play. Spain, 15 played, 1 left to come for them. They have 10 points, but they are safe. Ireland are relegated from the FIH Pro League, and New Zealand, having won the Nations Cup, are their replacement. Well, let's have a look at what is to come on the last but one day of action in London. 2-1 Great Britain men beat Spain men. Next up, Great Britain women in a replay of an 8-goal thriller, which Great Britain took a shootout bonus point in against China last week to come next. Then Germany versus Australia, the world champions against the Olympic silver medalists from Tokyo. And then we finish off with Australia women, Commonwealth Games silver medalists from a couple of years ago in Birmingham, against Germany women, who are getting better and better and better and have won so many matches this season. Connor Williamson gets his first ever career goal in a Great Britain or England shirt. Simon Mason, thank you to you for your comment. To you at home, I hope you've enjoyed it. Great Britain win narrowly. And a special goal from Alan Forsyth. Goodbye.